Oceans are really, really important to us for a whole load of different reasons. They're places where we live, work and play. And so when climate change happens and affects them, then it also affects us on land, whether it's the food that we can access, or the jobs that we have, or the communities that we live in. My name is Dr. Helen Gurney-Smith. I'm a research scientist based at the St Andrews Biological Station, which is part of Fisheries and Oceans Canada, in beautiful St Andrews, New Brunswick. The Climate Change Group at St Andrews works on the impacts of current and future climate conditions on marine species and ecosystems. So we're trying to work out how future climate change will affect those populations. And some of the big things that we're interested in are global warming, ocean acidification and deoxygenation. One of the species that we're working with currently is the Atlantic sea scallops, which are really important commercial species for Atlantic Canada and Canada in general. We look at how current and future conditions will affect marine species and ecosystems. So some of the big climate change impacts that we're looking at are based around global warming, ocean acidification and also ocean deoxygenation. And then what that means for people who might rely on that for food or jobs or communities. There's a lot of body of evidence now that climate change is affecting marine ecosystems, and this is primarily linked to emissions of greenhouse gases. So these are causing things like global warming, so that for oceans that means increasing ocean temperatures. It's also causing ocean acidification, so that means it's reducing the pH of the oceans, and it's also causing deoxygenation. We're looking at effects of ocean acidification and global warming on the species. So Atlantic sea scallops are actually a really important species for Atlantic Canada, and in particular Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, because they have a very high landed value of $150 million. The kind of climate change work that we do involves a lot of different people and a lot of different people's expertise, so it really takes a massive group of us to be able to conduct the kind of research that we need to do to get the answers to the questions that we're asking. For example, we'll do a lot of field work. So in the field we work with chemical oceanographers and local aquaculturists who are monitoring the changes that are going on in the environment, and then we're comparing that with taxonomy data. The changes that we're seeing in the ocean aren't going to happen in isolation alone. We're going to see changes in marine species, and that's going to mean that you're going to see different species on the beaches, different access to food, for example. There's some different places that you can go to learn about that kind of information, and there are things called communities of practices, which really bring people together to share knowledge and have action on climate change. So one of the places, for example, is at www.oceanacidification.ca, and there's also the UN Ocean Decades initiative as well. So we're all part of the problem, but we're all part of the solution, and together we can make a difference.